So now what do we do?
We go back to Andy's. Anyone see an exit?
Exit, schmexit. Let's get played with.
Careful. These toys might be jealous of new arrivals.
I want to see!
Hey!
It's my turn! New toys!
Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Let's get you out of here, Buzz. Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit. Snap out of it, Buzz.
Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
Take my life, Usul. Here's the only way.
I'm pointing the way!
I've really got to get you out of those clothes
Excuse me?
and into a black dress. Tell me, Doctor, do you like the circus?
Welcome back to another episode of Iran, a podcast where we talk about the geopolitical climate of Iran and how it relates to the songs of the 80s pop band Duran Duran. This week, did Girls on Film really inspire this conflict? We'll find out from our co-host Cole. You guys are looking at me weird.
Corey, Duran Duran didn't write the song Iran.
No, Iran, where we compare Duran Duran to the geopolitical
Did
climate
you write that down,
going on in
or were
Iran.
you planning on making that your intro the whole time?
No.
Okay.
Not the whole time. Towards the end there. Didn't land. This is Get a Load of This Movie, a franchise movie podcast where we talk about movies that are a part of a franchise. That means 3 movies or more. And today we are covering the 3rd movie in a franchise. We are covering Toy Story 3. And we just couldn't do it alone. Not us. And who is us? Well, I'm Corey.
Hey, what's up? I'm Cole.
And I'm Zach.
And we have a very, very special guest with us today. Who is our guest? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Marie. I am both Cole and Zach's favorite older sister. We actually all come from the same family.
That's Lori, yeah.
Great.
I can say that because I'm pretty sure Lydia doesn't listen to the podcast.
No,
I guess I should just see
no,
myself.
This would
out
actually
then.
might be the one that she would, if we advertise that you are on it and we're talking about Toy Story 3. This could be the one that makes it through.
She gets a great Iran joke to start off.
Marie, we're talking about Toy Story 3 today. Obviously, I don't know if Corey said that. I'm sure he probably did. But I guess before we actually get into it, what would be your super duper brief thoughts overall on the first 2 Toy Stories?
I think just overall, Toy Story was I was right in that target demographic. I still am of where all the toys are at kind of in life and what it's saying. I was really little when the first Toy Story came out, and then the second one I was actually just listening to episode 2 today with the girls. A patron. Talking about all the stuff about the toys that were going into storage and being kept as the memorabilia, that was right at the age for me with that, when it was oh, some of these toys are special. You build Legos, but then you don't touch them. That weird thing. And then I was a senior in high school when Toy Story 3 came out. And so I have kind of grown up alongside all the toys. And so it's just a big bucket of nostalgia for me.
Oh, I like that. A big bucket of nostalgia.
Big.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question on that one.
Oh,
do you think because you know what? I never looked at it that's kind of the target. You follow the life cycle of the toys,
The life
but
cycle.
do you think that this Toy Story 5, do you think you're still the target audience for it? I know it's not out yet, but marketing alone, do you think that's what it's targeted at?
Yeah, I really do, because I've got a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, and we are very deliberately not giving our kids screens a lot, because I'm not going to get on my soapbox on why, but we're really not. But there's so many kids who that is their childhood toy. It's just all in one screen. It's all in one tablet. And so now it is really interesting, because I feel a lot of it from the marketing, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit of Pixar's commentary on like parenting decisions right now.
Yeah. I think when I have kids, I'm just gonna kind of redirect them away from screens specifically and try to get them just to listen to podcasts, movie franchise podcasts as much as possible. And that
Give
should
them sticks
turn
and
them
make
out
them
okay.
listen to movie franchise podcasts.
We do. We've got a good Greek mythology podcast we listen to.
Oh.
I think I'm making an AI bot right now that I'm just going to give to my kids when they're born, so I don't have to talk to them really.
Like you're like making a little 3PO and like in your garage, like little Anakin and
yeah. So that way I don't have to be responsible for raising them. That thing can do it. But it's like part of me almost, you know, so it's like I created both of them. But very interesting. I can't wait to talk about Toy Story 3. This one is a hard watch emotionally just because there's so many big beats. And you know what? I don't want to not talk about it anymore. So we're going to skip the call sheet today, mainly because I didn't write one.
Nice.
And we're going to go straight into the action.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming. Ah!
Did that surprise you? Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Cole, did you write a summary for us today?
Yeah, I assumed through all of your
slowly
tears
forgetting.
you wouldn't have been able to really watch the movie because Corey texted Zach and I the day he watched it, and he goes, "You guys, I can't do it today."
I said, we're not covering this movie. I said, you guys can talk about it. I will not be.
So
I watched it again today, though.
Andy, now grown up, prepares to leave for college and plans to take Woody while storing the other toys in the attic. A mix-up causes the toys to be mistaken for trash, and they end up in a donation box headed to Sunnyside Daycare. Believing Andy abandoned them, the toys decide to stay at Sunnyside despite Woody's attempts to tell them the truth. At Sunnyside, they are welcomed by Lotso Huggin' Bear, Ken, and Big Baby. The daycare initially seems like the perfect home. Woody leaves but is taken in by a kind child named Bonnie who plays with him. The daycare turns out to be harsh. Toddlers damage toys, and Lotso is revealed as a tyrant controlling Sunnyside. Buzz is captured and reset into a loyal enforcer for Lotso, and the rest of Andy's toys are in prison. Woody learns Lotso's tragic backstory and returns to rescue his friends, leading to a daring escape attempt. The toys are captured again and end up at a landfill, nearly incinerated, but are saved by at the last moment by the Claw. Back home, Andy donates all his toys, including Woody, to Bonnie, giving them a new life with a loving owner.
I wanted to start out by saying that sometimes we complain that movies have multiple endings where it feels like there's an ending on an ending on an ending. And this movie does kind of have that aspect of an ending after an ending where you kind of feel like that moment at the dump is kind of an ending towards the movie, and it hits you emotionally as an ending. You know, I think seeing them all holding hands and sliding down towards that fire and them just kind of accepting it, it really hits you. Like that's not the first big emotional beat of the movie, but a major emotional beat of the movie. Like you feel that. But in here, I feel like the ending and then having another ending really it didn't really I don't know. It didn't spoil it, ruin it. It both hit as they were meant to be hit. And I think if you did it any other way, I wouldn't have liked it as much. So I was wondering if you guys had an opinion or if you guys felt that the ending after an ending or if the multiple endings affected you in this one at all. Marie, do you have the thoughts on that?
Ladies first.
Tough one.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I really saw it as two endings. I guess now that you kind of phrase it like that, it is kind of like a frame narrative where it's like a story within a story. But nice. I didn't really see it as two endings, so it didn't really bother me.
Yeah, I agree with Marie. I think there's like, there's it's not really, because it's a fake out. I mean, it's a really good one, effective. Like, I'm not like saying that in a negative way at all. But yeah, I mean, there's the getting out of danger, like the obstacle of the movie, just escaping Sunnyside, blah, 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 getting away from Lotso and all like the action type of finale, which is, getting rescued by the claw. But then there's like the emotional like crux of the film, which is that Andy is going to college. Like, that's the overall thing that sets the whole story in motion. And you're wondering how that's going to get resolved. And that being the final, like, coda or whatever, what you want to call it. I think that's placed perfectly. So yeah, and I think both of them are very emotional. I think the Andy one might be even more emotional because it is actually a payoff. It's not like they almost all died
100%.
together. But yeah, I think they're both, it's set up very perfectly, structured perfectly, I should say.
Yeah.
That second I'm kind of in agreement with Zach, where it's like the trash ending. That's not like, we don't expect that to be the true ending given what these films have done in the past. And
right.
I think the true fake out is when Andy gets out of the car with his box and they keep the camera on the box that says college. So it's like, oh, Woody donated everybody else, but he stayed behind. And then he realized, and then, there's that, and then the fake out, like, maybe it was time to let Andy truly grow up.
Can't talk about the ending too much. Cole, I know you agreed with Zach, and Zach, I know you agreed with Marie, but Cole, I think I agree with you and I disagree with Zach and Marie. So we can move on from that one right there. But that actual ending with Andy was probably one of the most emotional scenes that I've ever seen in a movie, and I don't think it really comes close.
I was crying. I was crying bad.
I mean, I watched it again today, and it was the exact same effect. I think I watched it 2 days ago and then again today, and it's like there's no difference. Like, I really don't know if there's another movie that can really hit me emotionally that hard. But like,
you never seen Snow Dogs?
Even like the first version of, like, not the first ending, because it's not really an ending, but when they're going down in the trash suit, and I call that an ending because they're coming to like an acceptance of what their life has been, and like they're like a lesson is like a full circle arc has kind of been complete when you get to that point. And it's not like the story is over, because we know the story's not over, but like them all just holding hands and like seeing that as like, this is what's important. It feels like there's something of a conclusion in there to that one.
You're kind of getting at what I think is a really interesting question with this movie specifically, with the toys, which is like, the previous movies are kind of talking about a toy's life cycle. The first one, like we said, is like, okay, you're getting phased out for a different toy. The second one is like, you eventually will just be phased out in general by your kid, which is what we see with like Jesse and Emily, and like kind of what they're thinking might happen with Woody now that he's broken, whatever. But like the fact that like this one is like, okay, Woody might go to college with Andy, but the rest of them are going in the attic or whatever. That it's putting like, okay, in terms of like what a toy's life is, like they're testing their loyalty to Andy, who's their owner, and the kid that they grew up with and played with, whatever. And then their loyalty to each other, like what's the importance of staying with each other? Because they're like, okay, like Buzz is trying to keep it all together. Like we're gonna all go up and be together in the attic, and like they're trying to make the best of it and all that. So I mean, it's like it's a great question of like weighing the loyalty to each other versus their loyalty to Andy, because it's putting the characters in a tough spot, and either choice is understandable. So yeah, and I think like the final payoff that they do get to. Andy says goodbye to them, and they get to, kind of move on to the next kid or whatever. I don't know. That makes it sound like kind of like it doesn't matter that much. Like there's always gonna be another kid. I mean, that's not always the case. I'm just saying, like, I do respect that these movies really I mean, we don't just say like, okay, toys are alive and that's it. And we just they go on adventures. Like we are getting into like what it means to like, okay, toys are alive and we are not sure what that means for their life cycle and, you know, what it's like to be a toy and where it's all going for them. That's definitely what all these movies are about, which I think is why they're really, they stay dramatic. They stay interesting in that way. So Andy goes off to college and like we were saying, like, okay, Andy, the movie grows up with its audience or whatever. So question for Marie, because I think the saddest part of this movie, actually, not even like them all holding hands or whatever, or the final goodbye with Andy, is when Andy's mom walks into his room. And and like that's when it hits her, and it's like, oh man, that's a tough one.
To the empty
so
room.
Marie, does being a mom change the way you watch these movies at all?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I have watched these movies since having kids, but it's been with them, and so I haven't really been able to like focus because half the time it's like, I need another snack, I have to go to the bathroom, I want to sit on your lap, like, and so you can't really focus. But yeah, so then rewatching it last night, you know, it's definitely like when the mom comes in, and then when also. There's just so many small bits of characters that I can relate to. Like I can remember being Andy and leaving my toys behind, like growing up, but also like Bonnie's mom, like that's the age of my kids. And so having this like I got choked up with the fact that like, oh my gosh, this like really nice older kid values her little child who like, if you go to like Toy Story 4, like clearly has trouble making friends. And so it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, there are like nice big kids who look out for the little kids. And there's just like, there's so many little kind of heartstring tugs through it. But yeah, when Andy's mom walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I know it's really far away, but I'm not ready for that.
Follow-up question, Marie. Would you allow one of your kids to play with the local college kid if he just came knocking on the door?
Clearly she knew him, so she called him by name, and there was parental supervision the entire time. It wasn't like, I'm gonna go sit in this little girl's bedroom alone and play with her. Like, it was out in the open.
Jeez.
It was fine. It was sick. Okay, so I have a question for Zach. And this is much more lighthearted, completely off topic, so I think that will be welcome. So this movie, I feel like for Zach, maybe also there's another layer to it because so much of it takes place in a preschool. And Zach's mom is a retired preschool teacher.
Spent a lot of time in there.
So you spent a lot of time in a preschool and in the different like rooms of a preschool. So were there any toys in her classroom that you were like, yep, that definitely comes to life after everyone leaves? Like, yep, this is the little dictator of the classroom. Like,
I'm sure I used to kind of pinpoint that. Honestly, the more so the thought in my head when I'm in there, like post me being a preschool child, where you know preschoolers don't have thought; they're just muscle memory and instinct.
Oh, I disagree.
Once I gained consciousness and I became aware of myself, I was self-reflexive. I think my big thought going into the preschool, like after school, and I would go in there to, you know, wait for my mom to be ready to go home, is like, God, so many of these toys were mine, like at home. And like they have now been brought in here. Like a little gray castle that we had that would open up and there was like a little elevator in it. Like mine. These little bastards are not treating it with the proper respect.
Did you
notice
more so different rooms?
So what'd you say?
Did you notice different rooms treated different toys better or worse?
I mean, there was at the preschool that my mom worked at and I went to, there's pretty much only two distinct rooms. They're big.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And yeah, I would imagine the other room is, you know, the 4 and 5s treat their toys a little bit nicer than the 2 and 3 room. But then again, I don't think any of them were getting like a spa treatment because like to put it in perspective, like my nephews, who you are aware of, are in the 4 and 5 room. So that would be the nice room.
That's what I was just going to bring up. You've got nephews that I feel like you've witnessed in the various stages of child development.
Yeah. And they've also left their toys at places a lot, which I was like, every time I'm like, oh. And each toy
Lotso.
Is thinking like
Jesse.
When he loved me, the song from Toy Story 2, every time they like my nephew leaves a damn Spider-Man toy or a Stormtrooper toy at the park, I'm not going back to get it.
Spidey,
the webhead.
I have a movie question that I kind of want to talk about.
Oh, good.
So we see Andy in this movie he's going off to college, he's moving on, getting rid of a bunch of stuff. So it's kind of like from the very beginning, it's kind of the end of Andy's story, right? That's kind of what we're seeing here. This is acting as like a bookend. Well, that's what it's presenting itself
Yes, it is.
as.
This movie alone is presenting it like that. Yeah.
Does this feel like a conclusion to Toy Story as a whole?
Yes.
It does. Okay. I was getting the feeling. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because, yes, it feels like a very good conclusion to Andy's story, and it feels like here we go on one last ride. That was someone wrote that down. I don't want to take that.
Was me.
I think
That's a cool thing.
Cole. But I did want to talk about like going off of that, I don't think this movie presents itself as a wrap up of the entire series, because I feel like there are still some threads that, like, not necessarily you have to wrap everything up when you're wrapping up a series or wrapping up a franchise, but I feel like there's enough that they left open and enough new characters that they introduced that it didn't feel necessarily like a conclusion to me. And especially that they're starting in this new home with Bonnie, right? Bonnie. And that they have if they would have ended it right at Andy driving away, then I think it would have done that a little bit more. But because they kind of go past
They did
that
the
and
epilogue.
they show a little bit of their life in Bonnie's room and with Bonnie's toys and their new life, it does kind of feel, to me at least, like the story is not necessarily over. Not saying like they're leaving it open for a sequel, but it doesn't feel like they're saying this is it.
So, Corey, I think I shared this point when we talked about, I think it was Mission Impossible. Like, did Dead Reckoning feel that way too? Because we kind of see Ethan.
Oh, Final Reckoning. You mean Final Reckoning?
Final Reckoning.
Yeah, Final Reckoning.
Part 2.
Because we see Ethan walk off into a crowd, right? All the spies, they give him the salute, they give him the nod. But that being said, it's a finalization, but it's also like
life goes on.
There's this quote I love from David Chase when he was writing the end of The Sopranos. He said, "I thought about that line from the end from Don't Stop Believing. The story never ends. It goes on and on and on and on." So even when the camera stops rolling, it doesn't necessarily mean the story's over.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. What's interesting about it is it does seem like, okay, so Andy going to college, they're like, oh, it's over. Like, we're going to the attic. And it is like, they're dreading the close of the chapter with Andy. But like, we cannot, I mean, the odds are that some of these toys were toys for other kids before, even beyond Jesse. We know that with Jesse already, because that was established in Toy Story 2. But like, some of these toys that Andy has had to be like hand-me-down toys from other kids. So like, they almost know there's a possibility they all get donated to just a different kid. So like, I don't know.
Like I mean, Woody was for sure.
Well, yeah, Woody's been around for a while. Yeah, I mean, because it's an old toy from like the 50s.
They talked about in 2 that Woody was a family toy.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess being in the attic for a while is kind of the fate they were staring down. But like, I don't think it's like, oh, we're never gonna get played with again. Like, I don't think that was realistic, ever. It was just like, but the group might get like separated. That seemed like more like a fear long term, maybe.
Yeah, they seem more affected when talking about like the toys that they've lost, like Bo and like even when like the army guys leave, there's like more of a sadness with that. But and maybe it's mostly Woody, but Woody seems very hopeful with the attic, and maybe that is because he's a family toy, and so he has firsthand experience being like, no, it's fine. You just go up and hang out with the Christmas decorations for a while, watch some TV, and then you'll come back downstairs in 20 years. And so maybe just because he's the only one speaking from experience, and the rest of them, it's like a fear of the unknown. But I don't think it's that dark to go up to the attic.
Yeah,
mostly because I have toys that my kids now have that were mine.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, and like Cole, you're noted here. Like, does this capture the feeling of One Last Ride? And that the way that you phrase it, I'm gonna say no, because One Last Ride for me feels like movies where like the main group, or at least 95% of the group, is together, and they're like we're gonna do this one more time. Whereas like Toy Story 3 feels like they're not like working toward an ending. They're like 7. That's exactly what I wrote down. Is like Furious 7, and then that movie franchise makes a mistake by continuing on after that, and it just hasn't been as good. But like Guardians 3 felt like that, and like
Avengers Endgame.
I wrote felt like that. Days of Future Past, but like things like that. Dominion, Jurassic Park World Dominion tried to be that, and it sucked. But
see, that's kind of the point I'm getting at, is that the motivation of the characters is not to like do like get Andy. Like the first thing we see is them trying to say like, let's get Andy to play with us.
That's their one last ride right there. Is right there.
Yeah, but then it doesn't work, and they immediately move on. Like ultimately, yes, they do get their last play time with Andy at the very end. Not that we're talking about that, and I'm not going to think about it, but like it feels like all of our characters are fighting for like their version of continuation, and they're like, what are we going to do next? Because they don't want it to be, they don't want it to be their last ride where they end up in the trash. Like it seems like Porky and
what'd you call them?
Ham and Rex, they said like, let's go see what we're worth on eBay or something like that. So it's like they're exploring different ways that they're gonna like where they're gonna go next, but it never feels like we just have to stick together for one last time to go to college or anything. Like even Woody, who knows his fate is to go to college or thinks that's what his fate is, he's excited about the next chapter, and all of them were excited to go to continue to be a kid's toy. So that's why it never like hit me as like a finalized or a final chapter for all of our characters, but definitely the Andy storyline.
It does still feel like a perfect ending though. And so Marie, I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know how many episodes you've listened to, but one of the trademarks of Get a Load of This Movie podcast is that if you feel like the franchise should have ended right here.
Yes, I was thinking about that with this one. Yeah. I'm hitting it.
So you can consider my buzzer hit now, and anyone can join me.
Yeah, I'm joining with that.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm not hitting mine.
You're not hitting it.
So all three of you guys are hitting it.
I mean, it feels like I really feel like that was the plan. They ended it with the clouds. Like they brought it totally visually full circle. Oh. The clouds in the sky were Andy's wallpaper that opened the whole series. Like how is that not?
That's just good storytelling.
Yeah, because
it's good storytelling has an end.
It's like Corey, and it's like I said, the story doesn't have to necessarily end. Like we always know these characters are gonna be out there. They're
watching over us.
I just hear. So the first one came. When did the first one come out? What year
95.
was that? 91, 95, and the next one was 2001 or 99.
Can you get one of them right?
This one was 2010.
Yes, he got this one right.
So the first two felt like they came out more in succession, and they just like, oh, the first one did really good. Yep. Let's make another one. But it felt like with this one, they took a pretty decent break.
So the audience could grow up with Andy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was because like we have to pay for our audience.
Pixar was making banger after banger. Yeah, they didn't have to pump out another Toy Story sequel. Yeah,
exactly.
I like to think they personally waited for me. They said Murray's not ready.
But even with the next one in 2019, like that was still a decent bit of time to continue a franchise. It feels like they're especially just looking at the third one, they took their time between the second and third one, between installments, and this one looks really, really great, especially when you look at it compared to the first one. This movie looks very, very good, very visually pleasing. Yeah. I think I've seen enough from them to know that they are not going to abuse the franchise. And I still believe that to this day. Seeing 4 and knowing that we get 5-7 years later, that I still want to see what stories they have to tell. Like I know people like I feel like people don't really like Forky. Is that right?
I think Forky was fun. Forky's not. I hit the buzzer because I value this is like a perfect 1, 2, 3. Like this really is like a perfect trilogy, and I think the ending is slightly. Maybe I'll feel differently after rewatching 4. It's slightly undercut by just like the ending you picture in your head after watching the end of this movie would not be is always going to be better than what any sequel could be. You know, like the ending for these toys, like you almost always
where
believe
they ultimately go.
Yeah, like this is exactly how you want to last remember them and see them. I think is Toy Story 3. Now, here's the thing: is I do like Toy Story 4. I'm just saying this. I think this would be a perfect trilogy, like completely perfect, no notes whatsoever if they just stopped it here. And I am still curious. Here's the thing: then now that we do get 4, coming off of 4, I'm not like no 5. You know, it's like well we already kind of went past it. You know, might as well see what 5 is. But even I don't know. We'll talk about that with 4. But I actually like the ending in 4 too. Not as much as the ending here.
I know.
Like,
I thought you spoke pretty highly of that. I can't remember exactly how it ends.
4 was also very effective for me, and we'll talk about that then. But I would end the franchise here. Yeah.
The ending of this one matches, who we've been attached to. Like the name on the bottom of the foot is kind of what we think of. It's what you get when you buy these toys at a department store.
Every time.
It's their Andy's toys,
But then I
bought Universe or Disney.
Then
I bought some for my nieces for Christmas. But yeah, it's...
Do you still have them, Marie?
Yeah, we've got Woody and we've got Jesse and we've got Rex and we've got...
No Bullseye.
I got Jesse and Rex for...
Yeah,
why doesn't Bullseye talk?
Because he's a horse.
Corey. Horses don't talk. Everyone knows that. And
not only is he a horse, he is like within the lore of Woody's Roundup, he is a sidekick pet.
Yeah.
There's a Slinky dog.
Yeah, but he's his own entity.
Corey, I've just about had it with this line of questioning. Let me tell you. Yeah. Marie, just because you won't be on for 4 or 5, I think now is a fair time to ask you who your favorite toy is overall in the franchise.
Ooh.
We can come back to it later when we sign you off if you want.
If you really want to think about it for a while.
No, I don't think I'm gonna think that hard. I feel like growing up, I had two, as you know, I had 2 little brothers. And so I feel like Woody and Buzz were off the table for favorites. And so I always gravitated towards Jessie and Bo Peep because by the de facto girl, I had to pick a girl character. But I think now as an adult, I think Potato Head is my favorite.
He's got so funny. Bloodlust. He's always out to he's always looking for an opportunity to turn on Woody and undermine him when Woody's not around. He's always trying to start.
And just I wrote down last night one of his lines was talking to Lotso, who had just taken off Mrs. Potato Head's mouth because she was yelling at him, and he goes, "Hey, no one takes my wife's mouth but me. Give it here, you dirty air freshener." Like it's just so good.
Well, I've said this in the past, but it does help that he's voiced by the most curmudgeon-y comedian in Don Rickles.
Yes. And I think we say, in my house, we say, "Hey, look, I'm Picasso," once a week.
You uncultured swine.
You uncultured swine.
Is he dead? I know the Slinky Dog voice passed.
Yeah, Don Rickles.
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are both dead.
Yeah.
At least they're gone together, I guess.
Tough. It's a tough one. Darn. All right. So Lotso. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think his system of new toys coming in got to go pay their dues, and the younger kids' room is not that crazy. I think he is evil by the end, and I think his methods are, very sinister, especially when he's willing to let them burn to death at the end. But I don't think he's a monster he could be more honest about it maybe, but him putting them in the other room, I don't think that's crazy. Am I off on that? I don't know. That was my read there.
I don't know, because you see the System 10 institutes later, and it's like, you can take turn.
I don't want to take turns.
It's not.
So I was thinking about this last night when I was watching it, because one of the major things that I teach for my high schoolers is dystopian literature. And we just kind of look at it as a whole and like what makes a society dystopian and all that. And one of the things we talk about is how a lot of dystopian societies come from an attempt at a utopian society, which you can see, like to your point, Zach, like you can see where he's like, okay, we need a hierarchy in here because we're going to get all these new toys in. The little kids are way too rough. None of us should have to go in there. So, the new people have to pay their dues. It's like, yeah, looks great. I elect Lotso. Like, he's very charismatic and he's got a good idea. And then you just see it totally get out of hand, and the new toys have zero voice. They have like no identity, and then yada, yada, deep into a dystopian society. It's a toy version of a dystopian society.
Marie, I think you just punched your ticket to coming back on this podcast. That was
Yes.
great.
With a better laptop.
We need to get more English teachers on here. That was great. I love that.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
See, but like when you're looking at it though, it doesn't feel like, even Ken's system doesn't feel like it's really working. It feels like that still sucks, you know? It feels like you have to, like, if a toy,
you think they should revolt
like,
against
Jesse,
the 2-year-olds.
No, like Jesse should not be, like, no matter what, if Jesse specifically were in that room for more than a week, because she's made of, like, even Woody or Bullseye, they're made of, like, they're not plastic felts. Yes, they're like
50-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm surprised she lasted. Both of them lasted the time that they did, because I feel like those kinds of toys are going to not last in that room, and so it feels like there should be a system kind of like that. You know, I know that's not necessarily what
the correct system would be. Toys have a suggested age. Another Potato Head quote. Ages 3 and up. It's on my box. 3 and up. Like, point. Yeah, you wouldn't put a Woody in there because that's probably a 7-year-old toy. Like, think of the kids who put things. 2-year-olds still put everything in their mouth. Half those toys have choking hazards that are going to come off them.
It's also
on the
clear
teacher's
that
part.
Lotso's leading the toys where he wants them to go.
He's a charismatic leader.
So
he's Lisan al-Gaid.
He's got that old Southern drawl that just, makes you think everything's going to be okay.
Who do you guys think is worse, Lotso or the Prospector? Who's more?
Lotso. Lotso was going to let them burn to death.
But if you set that aside,
I don't think if we're going motivation wise, I don't think Lotso had a motivation that you can get behind, like the Prospector. The Prospector felt like he had put his time, like he had done all this work, and he had, like, no one had ever picked him, and he felt it was finally his time to be picked. Lotso went through this whole thing where he was picked and got replaced, and he was like, I'm going to take it out on everyone. I think, honestly, this is, not to give anything away, I think this is a stronger movie than number 2. I honestly do, going back to it. But I think the villain is not necessarily on par. But I still, like, if you're just watching it, taking it in, I don't think you notice the differences between them as much. Not saying that they're a carbon copy of each other, because I don't think that either. I just don't think you notice, like, that there's a big dip, because one, there isn't. There's not a huge dip, but I think the motivation in 2 does more for the overall, like, impact of the story.
Can I say something negative about this picture? Can I be brave? And say something that it's not a big thing.
Will it be wise?
It's not a big thing. I feel that Lotso's outcome, he gets picked up by trash guy and put on front of trash truck.
Strawberries.
That feels like such a random afterthought, like, comeuppance for him, as opposed, like that. I don't think that's a very inspired final outcome. It's like, oh, haha, funny, but not really for me, I guess. I think the Prospector's outcome, after being so, like, I'll never get played with, so this is the life I'll get, and then him ending up to, like, being, like,
getting played with
played with, not in a way that he'd want. I think that's a funny outcome that also makes sense given where he was coming from. Like, it's cohesive with the whole art. This just kind of felt random to me. Like, okay, he's just going to get put on a trash truck.
Your ideal comeuppance is not that he meets the trash man, but he meets the junkyard dog and gets torn apart.
That would have been sick. That would have been awesome.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or he just gets away.
Bring back Scud for the first movie.
Or he just gets away. I wouldn't think that's like
If
awful
Andy's
if he just gets
dog is
away.
near death, Scud is dead and gone by this point in time. Like, Sid's picking up trash.
Okay.
Scud's dead and gone.
Oh yeah, honestly, yeah. If Sid picks him up and brings him back and tortures him, and we learn that Sid never learned that lesson all those years ago.
And then you really could argue that that's not the end of the whole trilogy.
If that happened, then it would be okay.
Okay.
They're obviously trying to wrap it up.
All right. What if we learned, or we learn about like the new Sunnyside post Lotso? What if like the last time we see Lotso is him leaving? You know, like, oh, see you, sheriff, or whatever, when he leaves. But then by the time he gets back to Sunnyside, it's already been revolutionized, and they're all very anti-Lotso. And then he gets his comeuppance back at Sunnyside. I think that would have been probably. I don't know what that looks like, but I would have preferred that outcome.
A stuffed animal that had been wandering through a junkyard, I don't want in a preschool full of children. That's gross.
Right. And I think maybe he's rejected on those grounds alone.
It doesn't seem like they really go through these toys. They kind of just accept what comes in the door or ends up on the floor.
They did. Yeah, they did not sanitize any of them. They didn't look to make sure that there were no like loose parts.
Nails.
No, they took what they could get. No, I think the perfect comeuppance for Lotso would have been he's wandering through the junkyard and he comes across a band of other toys that have survived the incinerator, and he creates a new dystopian society within the junkyard.
Hell yeah.
But he's at the bottom.
Just a Mad Max, for toys in this junkyard.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I really like the art style of it. And so I think that might be part of the reason that I can't put I can't close the book on it, because I really like how Toy Story looks in general.
Yeah.
So would you
they all
like
look better than the last one, each one?
I know. And so what if they would have done something different for Toy Story 4, and it would have been like Toy Story : and then they like named it. So it's like, this is like a different version of it, but it's still Toy Story. It's still the same characters. It's just no longer Andy's story. And then that one stays like separate. Would you like something like that?
Toy Story Born Again, like Daredevil? Like,
Born, like stuff like
what do you want?
Something. Nothing. I'm just trying to think of something. Because
Toy Story.
I just
come
don't. I don't
with.
I don't want the story to end. I guess
Cole.
that's where I'm coming from, and so that's just me trying to.
You don't have to hit your buzzer.
I'm not, but it makes me
go.
sad to think of a world where you guys hit your buzzers. Because I think this fifth one, I mean, I know how emotional this one was for me, and it hits at a very specific time. And I know that the fifth one is kind of more geared towards a state of the world that I'm not currently in, because it's writing about kids, like little kids that are dealing with screens and everything, and that's just, I don't have any nieces, nephews, kids of my own. Like I got nothing going on in that area.
You should get on that.
Well, I'm calling my sister. Speaking of my sister, I've watched the first season and a half of Hacks. But we could talk about that in the post-credit scene.
Sure.
But even this, but like 2010, I was not in this position to appreciate Toy Story 3.
Sure. Yeah.
But now I am. So, I mean, it's written for something that I might need in the
dream
future,
of,
you know?
You couldn't dream of going to college then. You didn't think you were going to college.
It wasn't going to happen for me. I was going to take over the shop, the family shop. That's what my dad wanted me to do.
So, Cole, I'm guessing you wrote
it.
Funniest film torture scene here. I'm guessing that was you?
Yes. Yeah. Because, I mean, as heartfelt as this movie is, it still has the hilarious trademarks of a Toy Story film. None more so than Ken being tortured by Barbie, who's simply tearing his clothes apart. And that is the torture. Michael Keaton as Ken, inspired choice to play Ken.
Yeah.
He is He's really great. But Zach, I think I actually know which one you might say for this.
Okay, here's the thing. I doubt it.
The Muffin Man.
Corey got it. Corey nailed it right away.
What?
I wrote two of them down. One was a fake answer and one was a real answer. And Corey nailed my real answer. My fake answer was Theon Greyjoy's entire season 3 of Game of Thrones. For funniest film torture scene, kind of a cheat because it's a show and it's an entire season. That gets pretty rough. Cole, I'm gonna guess you thought I was gonna say Casino Royale. That's what I'm gonna guess.
No, I was gonna say Starsky and Hutch. There is a bullet in the gun. I know that is the point of Russian roulette.
I don't remember that scene, but I remember liking that movie, so I probably would enjoy it. I haven't seen that in like a decade.
You used to quote that quite a bit. The Russian roulette.
I was a different man, man.
Oh, I just remembered what the torture scene is in Casino Royale. Oh, boy.
I brought that up at my niece's birthday. And
why would you bring that up?
Who are you talking to?
Ben Hohenstein. That's who I was talking to.
So, and
that's
Annie,
not
so he's
niece
tied to
birthday
this.
party
He's
talk.
tied to this chair, Annie. He's tied to this chair.
She was in the bounce house. Speaking of which, modern parents now just buy their kids bounce houses.
Cole's in the bounce house explaining Casino Royale torture scene to the other patrons of the bounce house. Whatever age they may be.
Just mouths open, eyes wide.
You guys have anything else for like that you want to bring up specifically about the movie before we go on to MVPs of the movie?
I need to talk about one thing, and I want to talk about it. I just want everyone to go around and talk about it really quick because we didn't really talk about it a ton. The actual ending when Andy is playing with his toys.
It's perfect. It's perfect. That's all I have.
It is 100% perfect. I actually cried. Could not. Emotional. I was physically trying to stop myself because I was watching this movie with friends or I was watching this movie with family, and I was physically trying to stop myself and I couldn't. I had to get up and walk around. Just to control myself because I knew if I started, my mom was going to just start bawling. And then if she started bawling and I was crying, my sister was going to start. And that would have just made Corey uncomfortable at that point, and she would have cried.
I think watching it with them might have been hard. Yeah, that might have affected. If I watch it with my mother, that might have done it maybe.
But that when I said, I can't remember at what point I said it, but I said this might be one of the most emotionally impactful movies. That is the scene, and that is the reason why. So I don't know if it impacted you all just as emotionally as it impacted me, but I needed to say that 2 cents.
See, that's why I'm saying I'm a big believer in go out on the highest note you can. That's why I'm saying like I hit my buzzer because that's just that you want to go out on the highest high you can get, and I think they just nailed it.
I could feel tears streaming down my face as I'm watching like the sequence where he's pulling them all out and he's explaining like why they all mean something, and then he grabs Woody and he can't give him to Bonnie. He just can't do it, and then he looks at Woody and he says the thing about Woody is he'll never give up on you, which also reads into the subtext that's been going on. Andy's dad is not around, so either he was like his dad's toy.
He's in prison.
He is the constant male figure in Andy's life.
I don't know if I would say he's the constant male figure in it. He is a toy. Like he's not just a toy catch or like putting down after a bad breakup.
Cole has a franchise movie podcast where we talk about movies that are part of a franchise.
He's the
expert. He says this piece of plastic is a male figure in his life.
But he's been his friend for his whole life. You know, and the thing about Woody is he never gave up on him. He was always there when Andy got home. He was always there right next to him when he went to bed. He was always in that box when he was lost. Like
No, I agree. Yes. I wouldn't say
it's a great take.
Constant male figure. I'm sticking to it.
Was Andy's surrogate father? Is that your argument?
Yes.
But
That's a take. It's a pull quote. It's a take.
But to kind of go off of that, I do think kind of what you've all been saying, it is one of the most, like, yeah, it is absolutely like one of the most heartwarming scenes. And it is one of, from what I can think of off the top of my head, in terms of like cinema, it is one of the most universally relatable things that I think I've ever seen. Like, no matter what your background is, no matter what opportunities you've had or have not had, like, everybody can remember growing up and like feeling like you are saying goodbye to a part of your life in like a bittersweet way, whether it's like going to college, entering the workforce. Like, I teach seniors and it's May. So like I see that a lot with like that kind of realization. And so I think that that's one of the really, really beautiful parts of this movie and the end of it is that it is so universally relatable to absolutely anybody who's going to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think both the toys and Andy learned a lesson there at the end, like loyal there the whole time they're talking. It's all about, you know, like he's saying, like Andy's or Woody is loyal. And they're all, and the whole conversation is like, oh, we got to get back to Andy, even though we're going to the attic. I think loyalty to a specific kid who you spend all that time with is endearing, but like realizing that you can do the most good by moving on and letting go. I mean, it goes both ways. Like Andy realizes that, you know, he might want to keep his toys, specifically Woody, but the best purpose they can serve is, instead of being little keepsakes for him, is just like actually, you know, the joy that they could bring someone else. And, you know, toys realizing that too, is that the most joy they can bring is not sitting in Andy's attic, even though that's, you know, would be the loyal thing to do. They can actually still have a lot of, you know, positive impact by just going to a new kid with Bonnie. Yeah. So I think it's perfect ending there.
Quick side note. After Stan Lee died, I remember seeing this thing and it was his face on Andy and he's pulling all like the Marvel characters out of the box, like all these characters that he's created. And the last one's like Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was like his iconic character. But this just made me think of it.
What did the last one he pulled out was like Sabretooth, just a random X-Men that he just couldn't let him go.
Would have been lame.
Sabretooth down. Oh, then the meme would have been lame.
Yeah.
On to, unless you had something. On to the award season. There you go.
There you go.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
You think I'm going to mess it up? No, that's what you guys do.
At first I thought you were like, you didn't know what you were going to do.
No, you just made a face, so I thought you had something else to say.
Well,
Marie, we always let the guests go first in this section where we pick the MVP for the movie. So who do you think is the MVP for Toy Story 3?
So I was thinking about that. I think it's going to be weird, but I think I have to go with Bonnie. I don't think that there is a kid that I could have like emotionally allowed Andy's toys to go to other than Bonnie. Like the way you get to like see she's like just as imaginative as Andy was. Like they did such a good job building a modernized version of Andy in a way that the audiences can be like, yes, like that kid deserves those toys 100%. Like even like Andy sees her playing, like that kid deserves those toys. Like she deserves to kind of take up the Toy Story kid mantle. So I'm gonna go Bonnie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's Emily Hahn.
Emily Hahn. Nice. All right, I am gonna go with Michael Keaton because I think he is absolutely the funniest part of this movie. Funny Keaton's great. You know, the first thing I think of with Michael Keaton is Batman, but if you go just one step beyond that most iconic role, like every other role almost that you can think of with him is just comedy, and he is so funny all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna go Michael Keaton as Ken, the Ken doll. The Ken and Barbie like little B plot of this movie is honestly what I think one of the stronger aspects of this movie, especially one that's like completely fresh for this movie, because like Barbie doesn't really get much screen time, but we meet a Barbie in Toy Story 2. Is that the same Barbie? I don't even remember. Is that?
I don't think so. No,
it's not supposed to be the same Barbie.
It's not her Barbie. It's not the
I don't know if she ended up going
Barbie.
with them. I forgot. But yeah,
I thought she did end up going with them, but I don't think it like clarifies if that's the same Barbie or not.
Either way, it's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, Barbie and Ken plot really enjoyed that. Like we were saying, the torture scene, that's a highlight too. But Ken's a lot of fun. So Michael Keaton. Cole.
Yeah, take your time, Cole.
I am going to go Randy Newman. I'm going Randy Newman just because, yes, his songs always hit an emotional note, but this was the first time I was listening to like the score, and I'm like, Randy Newman's score is kind of amazing, especially when they're going down into the incinerator and it's crescendoing and they're all holding hands. And of course, we're led to think it's the end. It's not going to be the end, but we're led to think it. And
what if they did?
I think Randy Newman elevated this film very well.
Great. My MVP is the director Lee Unkrich. As I said, I think this story is really well told, and I think even though you have the emotional beat of them and the dump kind of going down and all like just coming together, I think just the emotional touch points of this movie are just something that resonate with me, as we've talked about throughout the entire episode. And I got to attribute that to the director of the movie, just being able to capture the story and fire on all cylinders. So Lee Unkrich, the director, is mine.
Whoa! I just clicked on this guy's Wikipedia, Lee Unkrich here.
The king of Pixar.
Okay, so cool, very cool. Co-director on Toy Story 2, co-director Monsters Inc., co-story Finding Nemo. Doesn't have any credits on any of these. He's listed as other on WALL-E and Up. I don't know. It might just be like a story credit or something without writing the screenplay. I don't know. Then Toy Story 3 in 2010. And then he doesn't direct another Pixar film till Coco. And then he hasn't directed one since, but he's listed as the director for Coco 2, 2029. First I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Coco 2.
It's part of like they're doing original film sequel,
It's
sequel.
not. I just didn't know Coco. They're gonna kill Grandma Coco again.
Zach, do you remember how much you cried in the first Coco?
My cat died that morning. that was a tough timing.
On to the review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Cole.
Gonna keep this one simple, perfect end to a perfect trilogy, 5 out of 5.
Play sounder.
Dear God, that's beautiful.
5 stars, Angel, 5 stars.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
How's that for a slice of front gold?
All right.
Yeah, boy.
God damn, Jimmy.
That was bloody brilliant.
This is some serious gourmet shit.
That was totally wicked.
This is incredible. You like it? Oh, my God. That's such a
touch the hiney.
It played.
Marie.
I'm gonna go. I think I gotta go 5 out of 5 on this one too.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Dear God, that's beautiful.
5 stars, Angel, 5 stars.
That was the best acting I've ever.
Wait, Marie, you didn't say your review.
She doesn't have to come up with something. She gave the rating.
It's the
Unless
perfect
you have any
ending.
final thoughts that you'd like to share, Marie.
No, it's too perfect. And there's so much literary stuff. I didn't even get all the way English teachery in this. There's so much to like literary value in this movie.
Ooh.
I love
Maria. Since you're not going to be on the other, I mean, if you want to, if you, I'm sure you've got a good grasp on all of these films. What's your Toy Story franchise ranking of the 4 that are out?
Ranking?
Yeah, from like 4 to 1. Like how would you place them?
I think you go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, just in order. So you do go.
Yeah,
like, one's the
one.
best.
One is the best. No, 1, 3, 2, 4.
Oh,
now things are changing. Let's think about it for a second, Marie.
I know. I wasn't prepared for this. This was not in my.
I didn't put that on the document. Big secret. All right, Corey.
No,
Corey,
take it back. No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah!
Cut me off. I'm done. You got to cut me off. I'll change it again.
So we'll come back to Marie.
4, 2, 3, 1.
7.
Oh,
19.
gosh.
Yeah, it's like on the bridge in Monty Python. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay. This might be the most emotional movie ever made. An ending, possibly, but God, I hope not. 5 out of 5.
3 5s?
Pussy Sounder.
3 5s?
That's beautiful.
5 stars, Angel. 5 stars.
That was the best acting I've ever seen.
5s?
Will we hit the 4?
No, we will not. That's why he wanted me to go before him.
See, 8, 7,
You
That's
gotta
called
pick
good
up reads like
sequencing.
that, Cole.
That's called good sequencing.
You got to pick up reads. Yeah. you got to understand podcasting. You got to learn.
Okay. I'm going to go Toy Story 3 manages to teach everyone the beauty of moving on before the franchise itself forgets that very lesson.
Oh.
4.25 out of 5.
4.25 out of 5. Okay, he's right there. If Toy
Story
Story
like
4...
3.25.
If Toy Story 4 hadn't come out already and hadn't been announced, would this be a 5 out of 5?
Wouldn't be a 5, but I could safely call it 4.5, maybe. I don't know. I'm really protective with my 5s. I didn't give Toy Story 2 a 5, and I like Toy Story 2 more than this. So obviously by the rating.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. So. Okay, on to the post-credit scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
First things first, we will be continuing our series of having guests on the podcast next with a secret special surprise guest that's coming on for our next episode, which we will be continuing Steven Spielberg alien movies with Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. I believe it's called Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds.
So I've always referred to it. Yeah.
Steven Spielberg's Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds.
Yeah. War of the Worlds, which I don't know if that's streaming. Cole, you mentioned you looked that up.
Everyone's
don't
seen
know
it.
if you have that.
Doesn't matter. Everyone's already seen it.
Everyone's seen
Everyone
War
everywhere
of
has
the
seen
Worlds. Everyone has seen Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. Well, then, you know what? This will be a very popular episode.
If not, you should watch the Ice Cube version to prepare for our covering of the movie.
I will say this. Aren't there 2 other versions? But like, there's the Ice Cube version.
There's the original film, which actually leads me to my question is, English teacher Marie, have you read the H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds?
I did in college, so it's been a while, but yes. And then it's one of the options in our science and technology unit in my British literature class. So it gets discussed every year.
British.
Yeah. And I get to throw out my,
H.G. Wells is
my fun
British.
fact. Yeah. Do you not know the story with like the original radio broadcast of the book?
Yes.
I thought that was in America.
I'm not going to spoil it for your next episode. I'm not going to spoil it for your next episode, but just make sure you're familiar with that little tidbit of fun before you talk. That's for your next episode.
Cole, can you come prepared to talk about that specifically? Like, can you be our local expert on that? And I'll read the book and watch both the other movies.
You will not. You will not.
Maybe that could be a thing you guys do. One day you just read a book and then watch, like how Zach did Wuthering Heights. You read the book, then watch the movie, and then
that
have an
book
output on
as
that.
I pulled into the theater. I mean, I wasn't driving, to be clear.
I remember asking Zach, is it like the book? And he goes,
I did not have to binge read the second half of that book before seeing the movie. I was
It
kind of
looks
upset.
like War of the Worlds, the 1953 movie, is streaming on YouTube. So you can just check that out on YouTube.
Maybe
We won't be
I will
covering
check that
one,
out.
so-
I don't know if I'll get around to reading the book before we record, but I will. Maybe I will watch
I'm
that
not
original
reading the
movie.
book. How
I will
long
not
is
be
the
watching the Ice Cube film.
I'm going to watch that.
Lame.
Okay. Maybe another special little movie by the time this movie comes out. I don't know. Marie, have you watched anything recently that you feel really, or read? This is your, if you have something that you read or watched recently, if you could pick one thing that you would really wish to recommend.
Oh gosh. I mean, Tyler and I just finished watching Sirens, and we watched that like really quick. Have you seen that? It's like a mini series. It's pretty entertaining.
I'm familiar.
It's one of the girls.
Oh, it's Millie Alcock.
Yeah,
and,
now I'm questioning the streaming service it's on.
What?
She's from House of Dragon.
Yeah, she's Supergirl. I was trying to get Cole to uncomfortably repeat her last name.
Oh. Yeah, we just watched that. That was a fast watch for us.
Lady here.
Nice.
Sirens. Okay, I'll put it on. Guys, I started a new show.
No, you don't do that.
Oh, I think I've seen this. I think I've seen Sirens, or at least pieces.
Corey
of it.
has watched so many shows that he genuinely does not remember a certain
It
show.
has Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Hey,
And he essentially plays more or less the same character. Not as openly terrible, but same level of like entitlement.
I started watching Hacks on HBO Max. Have you guys seen that?
I have not. I hear good things, and it wins a lot of Emmys.
It was recommended to me by my sister Becca, who really wants to be on our Princess Diaries 3 episode whenever that comes out. I think the movie has to come out first.
Each sister gets a Princess Diaries episode?
Lydia will not be on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's one problem.
I'm just trying to get myself back on, okay?
We'll have you back on for sure.
Should it Zach, should it be Marie, Becca, and then Rob?
Marie, Becca, and then Rob is on for Princess. Let's get Rob on for Princess Diaries too, please. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah.
I'd like that too.
If we didn't get Rob for Dune, but we're going to get him for Princess Diaries too.
But Hacks is really, really good. I watched the first season since we've talked last, which I believe was about 3 days, maybe 4 days, maybe a little bit longer than that. But I watched the first season. I'm midway through the second season, and it's good. It's got a very similar episode structure that Scrubs had, to where like it has a lot of good comedic bits throughout, but then it ends with like a big splash of heart, and it just like makes you gotta watch the next episode because you're like, oh, well, that was kind of a sad ending, or like a very emotional ending. I kind of want to see what, like, I want them to leave me on a positive ending, and I know this show makes me feel positive, so I'm gonna watch the next episode. But then the next episode, you're laughing, and then the last 2 minutes, it kind of brings you back down to earth, and you're like, oh, well, now I gotta watch the next episode, and so it's just kind of that. But it's really, really well written, really good. I think both of you guys would like it. Zach, I don't think you're ever gonna watch it, and Cole, I don't know if you'd get into it the same, but I think you would enjoy the first season.
All the posters have white people, so I don't think I'm gonna really dabble.
There aren't. I was gonna say something that I don't think you would cut out, so I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, that's what we've been watching. Cole, have you been watching anything?
As soon as we get off, I'm finishing season 2 of Daredevil: Born Again. And yeah, that's right. I said it.
Have you been keeping up with the boys?
I have. I've really enjoyed it. The last episode, I thought they actually, it got a lot of lack for what people called filler. I thought it really pushed the story, and it was actually really cool. And then Rooster is a show I'd really recommend to anyone. I've told people I really identify with the character because he's this really well-meaning guy that just says the wrong thing a lot, and I can
like Michael Scott. I guess Michael Scott's actually not always well-meaning. Actually, I take that back.
No, Michael's a mean-spirited guy.
No, he's just overwhelmed by being
mean-spirited towards Toby.
I think he's just very self-centered.
Yes, that's yes.
But Rooster, if you get a chance, it's quick. It's got Jamie Tott from
Ted Lasso season 4, the show. Yeah. You're gonna talk about hitting the we're gonna no finality after the third one. We're gonna keep it going. Is Ted Lasso season 4 gonna be the Toy Story season 4 or Toy Story 4?
Zach doesn't like women. Zach doesn't like women.
I thought that was over. I thought it was over.
Yeah, you would. You wouldn't give women a chance, would you?
Well, sorry, while you're on Apple TV, since Zach can't watch the new Ted Lasso, you should watch Your Friends and Neighbors. If you guys don't watch that one, that's a John Hamm.
Oh,
is that the? I've heard that.
Absolutely, absolutely. 100%.
Honestly, if I'm on Apple TV, then I'll finally get around to Shrinking. That's probably the first thing I'll do.
Doubt it.
That's actually here's the thing. That's actually there's shows where it's like I know they're good. I'm never gonna watch them. Sorry, Hacks would probably fall into that. Shrinking is on the one where in my head, I am like, I will watch that. I will watch
Shrinking
it.
is still approachable. There's not too many episodes still.
I don't know if it's your cup of tea.
And it's got his boy in it.
It's got my boy. That's
Zach
the Harrison Ford
loves
of it all.
Harrison
Really
Ford.
might push it to happening. Yeah. Well, I'm going to recommend that people read Fire and Blood. That's what I'm reading right now. The Targaryen family history written by George R.R. Martin. So it's what House of the Dragon is based off of. So
I'm going to read War of the Worlds.
Has he finished that third book yet?
It's the 6th book, Cole. Get it right. And no, he hasn't.
Well, until George R. Martin finishes that book.
How many R's?
Yeah, just too many. Just one too many. Thank you for listening, and thank you for, I guess, just listening in this episode, but that's okay. Marie, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure. We cannot wait to have you on for the Princess Diaries when we do that.
Cannot wait. This has been the honor of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah, that's very sweet of you. That. Most people, this is a burden. I appreciate that, including.
I will never turn down an episode.
Oh.
Wow. Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Thank you.
If I haven't seen the movie, maybe then. So I would feel like an imposter then. But
there's so many stipulations.
Marie will see it for Evil Dead Burn in July. Then the new Evil Dead comes out. We're looking forward to it.
But until the new Evil Dead comes out, and until our next episode, thank you, and just keep watching movies. See ya.
Keep watching movies is such a cute little sign.